starting or finishing. He's now debating whether he wants to start the match.
Now, it's not an optical illusion, those slacks that Walter Ray, he's really getting with it, isn't he, to all the younger people in our audience?
Well, he's quite a personable guy, and
oh, yes.
And quite a, I tell you, he's a tough match game opponent. I always hated to bowl against Walter Ray. He's tough in the clutch, and you can't hardly read him. He doesn't give you much body language out there.
Big and strong at 6'2" and 180 pounds. I always call him the Earl Flynn among the professional bowlers. Look at him. Is that a face?
Has one of the most versatile styles on the PBA Tour. He can play the big hook ball or throw it as straight as a rope, they say, and amazing that that man would go almost 3.5 years without a victory. This man, 2 years without a victory, both of them trying to break that drought here in the opening matches of 1991.
Marshall's first shot after that big victory has left the 7-pin.
Holman looks so sharp, though. He had 11 balls in the pocket. He had that, what we call, swishing 7-10 split that even made the match close against Mark McDowell. Watch the action on the left-hand part of your screen. The head pin will hit the 2. The 2 will drive the 4-pin right there, straight back. The head pin goes around the 7, the solid 7. A tough break for Holman to open up against Walter Ray Williams, Jr.
All right, strike for Williams, spare for Holman. ABC's Wide World of Sports, though, begins its 30th season next Saturday as Brian Boitano, Debbie Thomas, and Liz Manley compete in the NutraSweet World Challenge of Champions. Plus, Wengen, Switzerland for a test of speed on the slopes at the World Cup Downhill and the Athlete of the Year presentation. 4:30 Eastern, 3:30 Central, season's premiere Wide World. And I'm happy to be on the figure skating with Peggy Fleming.
And Brian Boitano, one of my favorites. I really like his act. Now Holman, second frame.
Marshall felt maybe fortunate.
Actually, a little more than maybe. Marshall's had so many bad things happen to him in the championship round. He deserves a few good ones. He had a solid 7 in the first frame bad break, but then he makes up for it. He throws the ball high, almost leaves the 6-7 split, breaks it up, and has left himself a very simple spare. And he'll really be right in the match since he doesn't have an open frame through 2 frames. This is Marshall's 104th television appearance. I'll repeat that. His 104th. Some extraneous noises off to the left, and I told you Marshall will let you know how he feels. Walter Ray Williams, Jr., 4-time world horseshoe pitching champion, just set a new record last year of 92% ringers to break the old record set in 1960. And here in bowling, he leaves the 10-pin. He was 3-time junior world champion as well. Walter Ray with that full approach, 5-step delivery, tries to keep his swing inside, nice and tight. Good job, sends it wide, and just kind of leaves a half 10. He kind of liked that shot. The right lane hooks just a little bit less than the left. Ooh. Yes, it nearly found the channel. Well, both these players have made extensive tours with me, Chris. I took Marshall Holman for 2 years and toured about 40 bowling centers in Florida. Walter Ray, the following year, he went about 20 bowling centers with me. And they both have a little act that when they make the 10-pin, they ask the crowd when's the last time they missed it. And they usually say 5 or 6 years. So not true, but Walter Ray makes that 10-pin that time. Now back striking as we open the match. This is Walter Ray's first match of the afternoon. It's Holman's second. If you just joined us, Harry Sullins was eliminated by Mark McDowell, 221 to 196, and then this man shot a 256 to McDowell's 217. Practicing now, you hear his pinfall is our tournament leader, David Ozio, who will meet the winner. A 2. Holman just spun that ball a little bit. You see him talking to himself, and when he does that, he gets over the top of it a little too quickly. In other words, he starts turning the ball before it's off his thumb. It causes the ball to spin, doesn't bite the lane as much, and obviously doesn't hook as much and get back to the pocket. All right, Marshall Holman, very close. Third match of the afternoon.
Well, with Walter Ray Williams leading by a couple of pins, we're at Gable House in Torrance, California. Okay, for all of you except on the West Coast, as we speak to you from Torrance, California.
This is a special report from...
Not necessarily in the finals, Walter Ray Williams, Jr. This is a semifinal match. He opened with a strike, had one in the third, and this was his shot in the fourth frame, and he has left the 10-pin. His opponent is Marshall Holman, trailing by 2 coming into this frame. Marshall defeating Mark McDowell in the previous match, 256 to 217. All right, he stays into the lead as we go to Nelson Burton, Jr.
Thank you, Chris Schenkel. Tournament leader David Ozio, sometimes not the most enviable place to be, but David, you have 2 great players out there, both bowlers of the year. Which one would you rather bowl for the championship?
Well, I'll tell you the truth. I've always wanted to bowl Marshall Holman in a title match and hopefully come out victorious on it. And either player that I'm going to bowl today, I'm going to have to throw 12 great shots in order to beat one of these guys. And I'll tell you what, I just have to get up and do it.
Well, he looks very confident, Chris, and he'll be a great final match, but the semifinal is still to be decided. Back to you.
David Ozio from Vidor, Texas, tournament leader. Walter Ray Williams getting his 3rd strike of the match, that one coming in the 5th. And now Marshall Holman. If he can strike here, we'll take an 8-pin lead. Once he gets on the approach, as Walter Ray Williams doing a little patchwork, Marshall pulls the trigger in a hurry, like now. So, David Ozio may get his wish. Yeah, we've reached the halfway point of the match. A double and an 8-pin lead for Holman, both.
2 of the great players going against each other, and once again, it's match play competition. Score is really kind of relative. You'd rather win with a 150 than lose with a 250, and we also watched Walter Ray Williams, Jr. putting a piece of tape in his thumb hole. The players are very particular about how much tape they put in their thumb hole. Keep it just right.
And next week, we return to